Good afternoon, everybody. Elizabeth Oshodi here. I am going to be talking about a few general topics, and as usual, I bring before you the topics that are interesting, but it's going to also be towards a good ending, a good life. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá tèmi, mo kí yín o, a kú iṣẹ́, a kú ọ̀rọ̀ ènìyàn, a kú ayé yìí, a kú ìjagun, ayọ̀ ló máa bọ́ sí o. So the topic today actually is looking around me and seeing what marriages have become. I'm not married at this point in time. I've been on my own for 23 years, back and forth, trying to make things work. And I see a lot of marriages that are not working. But above all, I see a lot of married couples that are together and not happy. And I'm going to specifically be talking to our women today. We live in an economy where oftentimes it's the woman that tends to make more money. Of course, you do have houses and homes where the man makes money. But regardless of how much a woman makes, there are still certain expectations that is expected of us as godly women. If your husband makes 1,000 and you make 2, should not cause any disrespect. I'm saying this because we all are planning to go home eventually. We don't want to die here. We don't want to stay here. So we use our sweat, our dividends, and we try to build something at home. We build houses, we buy cars, we try to make our lives work at home. But what home will we be going into? If you are married to a man here that is not happy about your relationship, you are going to live here and go where the law does not support you. Hardly have I seen people go home who did not end up with an extended family, as in the man will end up marrying a second wife. Because all through here, he's not been happy, he's just been forbearing that marriage. And you're being what? I'm pleading with you. It is going to be what her children fall back on. It is the examples that they see. No matter how bad a marriage has become, no matter what the separation is, I had to learn. I always tell you, I'm my own first student. So every time I come to you to talk, I'm not talking because I think I'm wiser. Now I am. So for those that have not learned their lessons, yes, I think I'm wiser than you. So you don't have to tread the path to pain, through to victory to learn. You can actually learn from people like me. And if you listen enough, you will know that it pays to learn from others' experiences. So you work, for instance, as a registered nurse, you work and you put all your money together. And you together with this man that you have no respect for and no regard for here in the US because you're covered by the law, you go back to Nigeria and you build a home. Remember, you're going to be building that house near his family. As a woman, you are already part of his family. You leave your father and mother and cleave, right? So everything that you do to maintain the pride of your man and according to culture, you end up doing in the man's place at his location. He's going to now go home and retire. I mean, I've heard stories of a place where the man would say, dear, that project, the house we're building, it's completed. I think I should go home and see what I can do. By the time the woman gets there, the man has already married the second wife. The woman even has no right to go into that house. Mental problem, mental breakdown. True, no matter what we do, if somebody is going to treat us bad, you have no control over that. But we should not give them a reason. It is better for you to go to McDonald's and eat food, be satisfied, than for you to take your money, your hard-earned sweat, and go together to do a project at home with a man that you have no regard for. Am I saying don't do projects with your husbands? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it is not necessarily about what you do at home. Because that home you are going to go to, how many of your children are ready to go with you now that are 17 and 18, that are ready to go settle with you at home? Oh no, they will not go with you. So you actually think you will go home, leave your children here, and take yourselves back home to do what? To turn everybody in your village or in the city to your housemaid. You are going to go use your sisters and your brother's children to run errands for you when your children are here, enjoying their lives. How much money do you have? If you buy their services, will you buy their loyalty? So as we're planning, I'm asking us to realize where we stand and what our lives have become. Let us plan with wisdom. Let us do with knowledge. Don't let us do all this running around and take that money, the sweat, and go and plant it where other issues will arise. Go home you must. Do something at home you must. Those are external factors. Don't get there and realize that you really do not care about each other that much. What am I saying? I'm saying stop. Stop the project, stop the planning, revisit your foundation, make sure you have love for each other that is true and founded. It might be a new definition of love, it might be a new stepping in love, but you have to stop and understand each other. You truly have to be together. Let us realize that even if we're separated, it does not mean the end of the world. I've heard of situations where for the child to have her father come to a wedding, people have to go beg the mother. Look, if we look at what these men do sometimes, even what some of the women do, as the partner that is being left, we will misbehave. We cannot afford to misbehave for our children. So if you're together, it's a wonderful example you're setting for your children. That is everybody's typical dream that knows from the beginning before the world changed and change things on us. And if you're separate, we still have to learn to find respect and peace with each other, for each other. So that the children, for instance, my father and my mother have been back and forth. Now they're not together. But I have heard my father said, man, I must be a tough man. And his friends asked him why. He said, if I wasn't a tough man, would I let this kind of a woman go? We make mistakes in our lives. Every day we grow. Every day we learn. We have to realize that life is about knowing what we do, not for this result, but for the end time result, when we're tired. I was watching my Baba Sanjay's video. He said, I'm broke, I'm an old man now. Everybody's going to get there. We're all going to be old men and women. And you know, the saddest thing is I also work with people that are Nigerians and foreigners, CNAs, certified nursing assistants, that worked themselves to the bone to provide for their children, supported them through the very end, through pharmacy studies, doctoral degrees. They're medical doctors, they're pharmacists. Has it ever taken an hour away from the shifts? No. They're still doing overtime. They're still working as many hours because the system is already set to make everybody pay. So on that front, I'm going to ask our children, so now you graduated. Congratulations. Congratulations. And then what? Yes, you're going to go get married. Your wife already has a student loan of about $100,000. You have your own student loan of $60,000 to $100,000, no matter what you study. So now it is time to venture into the world. And I do have friends who say, I don't want my children to feed me. I want to see how long you can do that for. Because even as millionaires, when you have factories and resources and Okoya and Adeola, and it comes to a period in life, a time in life where you hand over those things to your kids to run. You may not give them the total control, but they be the majority of the people running that company. And you hope that they will be decent enough to run it well and not running it into the ground. God created us as human beings to take care of our children, use our resources with them, use our youthfulness with them, use our strength, our energy, our love, our whole heart for them. So that as we get old and we cannot lift our arms as swiftly anymore, and we cannot move our bodies as swiftly anymore, that those kids will be there to pay back. That is, it is cycle. Life is a cycle. So when you graduate and you get married, you are into your student loan, you are into the best apartments you can live in, you buy your Gucci shoes or your Gucci bags, and you forget the efforts that your parents put in to get you to where you are. I've heard of stories of children who start to suddenly walk and they graduate from school and they lock up their rooms and buy the food they will eat in the mother's house, in their rooms. Selfish kids. I've heard of students that the mother will go sign for when they were in nursing school. And when they finish, what do? They leave the car with their mother and go to Chicago or wherever with their boyfriends. And the mother will have to keep paying the bills. Today I talk about homes. And that is the father, the mother, the children. I don't care what ages we are. And I don't care what situation our lives have taken us into, together or apart. And mothers, I learned this from my mother. And of course from my sister. She will tell me, Adeola, leave Emmanuel alone. Just do what you know you need to do. Let him make all the noise he wants to make. You know where you're going. I didn't get it all. And my mother used to tell me, Adeola, and one more, your children are your husbands. Lover girl. I'll say, no, mommy. Hey, Joy, don't tell me that. I didn't marry my children. I married my husband. If my husband doesn't do this, no. It's amazing how I'm not on hypertensive drugs. I was so much in love. I couldn't see beyond my husband. But today, I know that your children are truly your own. They are the ones that will stand with you, by you, for you, no matter what. And even as mothers, it's like a double win. But no matter what we do, I ask that we learn to present our partners to our children in good light. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all. See, I'm learning to use the depth of the passion in the love that I had for my ex to maneuver and manage and manipulate all the annoyance and the hate and the unforgiveness that ensued from that relationship. Like they always say, it is not an enemy that betrays you, it's always a friend. So you have a right to feel hurt, like I do have a right to feel hurt. But it does not negate the fact that we still have to, as always, do the right thing. Let's love our children enough to protect their future. It's always about her children. I'm funky. I can wear skirts. I can wear gowns. Makeup, but who am I without my work? If I don't have children, I will know I don't have children. But as a caring mother, I have children, and my whole life is all about making sure that they turn out right. Like my friend Isaiah will say, who no go know, including my goddamn self. See, when people that are ignorant are acting in ignorance, the people with wisdom will stand firm in their wisdom, because there's going to come a time when the people that are ignorant tend to see the light. And all they're going to tell you that's weird is I'm sorry, and that doesn't change or rectify or nullify anything that could have ensued from that misbehavior. So if we say we know the truth, we need to act like we know the truth. And please don't preach at me. Okay? It's all about God said, God said. I was telling my friend this morning, I said, Larry, do you know that as much of a woman of God and faith as we are, we should learn to see what our husbands like. There is nothing like a beautiful home. And there is no perfect home. I never told you perfection. I said beautiful home. And it doesn't matter where we're at. We should not be swayed by people that are lost. I tell people, I said, this, I don't even see anybody anymore. Because God pays 97, 98% of my bills. Am I, because of the 2-3%, going to throw myself all around? If God says I will remarry, if God says the one that is gone will come back, if God says it's going to work out, but God that created me knows what I want, I will stand up for me. I will stand up for my children's dignity. And right now, as Omo Yoruba, Omo Igbo, Omo Hausa, Omo Nigeria, Omo Africa, it doesn't matter how much of a distance we are away from home. We should always imbibe some culture into our relationships. Kori mori e lori, konu mori e nihun, kosiru nu wa o, and sheru. And the fact that sometimes we keep quiet does not mean we don't know what to say. But most of these things should be used as pomade and just rub on your body. Love tends to cover all things. I do want to see happy children. I do want to see happy homes. Our kids are now getting married. You know how many marriages have been conducted here alone in Houston this year? And please, I am begging us. It is okay to have society weddings. Some of the weddings we have here, they don't even have in Nigeria. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say there is no harm in parents celebrating the marriage of their children. But we should learn to let the children celebrate their own marriages. If the kids handle it their way, it tends to cost them less. It is when I, the mother or the father of the bride, wants to take over, and that is the day I want to show her that God has been grateful. God has been grateful. God has been graceful. He's been very graceful in everything. They're this grown, they're this sensible, they're decent enough to get married. See, the love that these kids have for each other grows a lot, because half of the time they're still biking on us. By the time they get into the system like us, and the wife goes for 12 hours, the husband goes for 14 hours, there's no time again to feed each other this love that makes it grow, that makes their relationship grow. By the time they have to factor the nanny into it, factor the fact that school fees has entered for their own children, where is the time to pay us back? What I'm saying is, it is from the foundation of our extension that we start to minimize the distance, the pain, the severity of this unfair system. This is an unfair system for an average African, no? I know it works for some people. I've said it the last time. It depends on where you come out from in Nigeria. Because if I say I want to go home now, it's not going to be the same thing for the next person. I just don't like to beg, and I don't like to be a burden. By the time I go to Wahab Dosumu's house, I live there, I go to, other places, I will always be able to survive. But if you don't come from that kind of background, what do you intend to do with your life? But plan well while you're here. So, bottom line of what I'm saying today is, let us learn to be decent. Let women know that respect does work for men. Let men know that respecting them is not out of weakness, but it's out of God's word. Let the children know to pay back their mothers and fathers for their thank yous. We're not going to beg you. And an average parent will not ask you for a dime. But when you leave that house and you graduate and you start your life, even if it is $20, put it in an envelope every month and say, Daddy, it's not much, but I know you have to pay your car notes. That is how we do it where I come from. That is how we do it. Yes. And I don't care who Bills marries. It's not because it's my only child. It will have to recognize, I will benefit from the work of his hands. Let us use wisdom. Being in America does not mean that we don't have a root. That is why most of us are floating. We don't know where we are, what we're doing. Because we don't want to include the goodness that we learned from home. We need to include that in our daily attitudes, in our daily works, in our daily lives. Culture is beautiful. It's a global village, which means I take what is good from here and add it to mine. It does not mean that I have to let go of what is already good in me, that I have in my palm. No, it just means I add from what the white man has to offer to what my parents, my culture, my society already has imbibed in me. Where I come from, children take care of their parents. Yes, it is not called begging. It is called, that is the way God made it. I take care of my mother. My son will take care of me. I'm not going to be a burden. And I'm not telling him to go and buy the latest Versace, but he will take care of me. So any woman that is coming into his life has to recognize that he will take care of me. So because that man knows that that girl, that wife is going to marry as a father and mother, and this taking care of has to be fair to both parties, you have to learn to buy lesser Gucci, lesser Versace, learn to do lesser of a societal person because you're not Beyonce. I tell people I'm not crazy. Beyonce makes what I make in 10 years in one day. There's no shame in my game. I am free. I'm not in jail. I don't have a criminal record because I know where I belong. But am I not looking good? Dress Beyonce up. Let's stand by each other now. Let her wear Rambuba and come and stand by me. I'm a proud African woman, hardworking. If you give me a project, I'll see it through. I have integrity and I'm good. Let us learn to live within our means. Life is not about what shines all the time. So today I come to bring peace to your homes. Wives, respect your husband. Don't do all this wahala and then you get home and it's for nothing. Because they take note. Men are not like women. A lot of men just live submissively. It should be the other way around. But they take what you feed them, what you push in their throat because they can't fight you. The system is on your side. There's 911. There's a child support. You think they're stupid? They would bear your nonsense. But there's an equalizer. When you get back home, there's a ground for that. Be careful, women. And men, please forgive us our foolishness. Forgive us. Going to marry another wife is not going to bring you peace. It's like two wahalas at one time. And children, love your parents. Find time for them. Make room for them. And learn to say thank you, not by mouth. Yes, I'm adjudicating that every child that watches this movie, this film, this recording, and lives here in the US, or lives in London, or lives in Paris, every child that is away from Nigeria and in Nigeria, look for little change, even if it is 50 naira, $50, put it in an envelope. Say, Elizabeth Adeola Oshodi says, I should say thank you to you. And mommy, you will be getting this every month. Mommy, I have gotten my salary. It is time to say thank you. It is not much, but this is all I can do for now. Please pay us back. Okay? Yerijabo, pay us back, yo. I am personally tired. My body feels every single movement I've made, every single pain I've made. And I went through all that for my children, not necessarily for me. So please, love us. Take care of us. Show us that you love us. Because we live for you. Thank you and God bless you. Again, Elizabeth Oshodi. May God continue to hold your homes. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.